This is how I'm going to explain a corner. The more technical it is, so the tighter it is, the more important this process is. Lap 1, for every single person here, is stand up only. Until you get comfortable with stand up only, you have no business sitting down in a corner. So in the first set, some of you might stand the whole time. I'm okay with that. But first lap, at least stand up only. Then you're gonna sit, once you're comfortable, at the 90% mark. So essentially you're just gonna sit at the end of the turn to accelerate down the straightaway. Do that as many times as it takes to get comfortable. Then you're gonna sit at the 80% mark. Then 70, and you get the point. Then 60, and so on. You will find a point that will feel the best because you'll then overshoot it. Maybe sit at the 40% mark and go, that didn't feel quite right. And then know that the 50% mark in the turn is your sweet spot. If you utilize that strategy for every single turn on every track that you ever go to, it will unlock flow. Because most people go, man, I got this corner at my local track, there's a deep rut. I just don't know how to get through it, and I've never been able to really hit it consistent or smooth. And I go, okay, well, what's your game plan? What's your strategy? Well, I just sit at the beginning and put my foot out. All right, well, was that your strategy right from the beginning? Yeah. Well, no wonder, right? It's like doing a science experiment and adding in all of the things all at once. You'd never be able to know what actually needed to happen or what difference created the change. Strip away all the extra things. Stand only, then add in the sitting. The inside rut's gonna have to take some time to get worked in. So take it super, super slow at first until a rut forms there, but standing up around that inside rut will, believe it or not, be easier than sitting will be. When we have to use the brakes coming in here, I wanna make sure that all of us are off of them before we get to the corner. The earlier, the better. The longer you drag the brakes, the more the bike's gonna stand up and you won't be able to settle into that corner at all. Guys, we're in Florida. It's only 78 degrees, but I live in Connecticut now, and 78 degrees to me in February feels like 120. We're going 2 packs. We got a liter of water. I've probably already had 2 packs, I think, today. A lot of sweating going on, so make sure that you guys are mixing it depending on how much you're sweating, but getting electrolytes in is key. I was surprised at class today how many people were just drinking straight water. You have to have the potassium, the sodium, the magnesium, those key electrolytes in your water to retain it, or else you're just gonna be peeing it out the whole time, and as you're sweating, you're gonna be very dehydrated by the end of the day. Thank God for Element, getting me through these 2 long days of classes. Go try it. Go to drinklmnt.com/AJCat330. Try 8 flavors for free with your order. They're a huge supporter of our podcast and our YouTube channel. It's a good, clean electrolyte powder. It's got everything you need, nothing you don't. Give it a shot. drinklmnt.com/AJCat330. So lap 1 is to figure out, okay, what gear do I want to be in? What's the traction like? What's the dirt like? So I'm going to go 3rd gear, stand up only. No sitting allowed very first time through. Second pass through, I can sit at the end of the corner. So I'm going to hit it maybe a little faster, but barely. And I'm going to sit right here at the end. 3rd pass through, I'm going to sit pretty close to the halfway mark. So I'm going to sit right 50% of the way through, really thinking about the hips. And essentially the idea here is to keep sitting earlier until it doesn't feel right. So in this corner, I'm going to sit a little earlier, so maybe the 40% mark. And in doing the steps that way, you will find the sweet spot of what makes sense. For me right now, 50% mark makes the most sense. I'm going to do the exact same process on the inside rut, which nobody's cut in yet. Second time through, I'm going to sit right at the end. My main focus in a corner like this is my hips, so making sure that that bike can lean a little bit underneath me without my upper body having to do the movement. Easy progression steps, right? I mean, there's nothing complicated about that. Stand, then sit at the end and slowly work that process up. What standing up the first time through allows you to do is just that. Figure out what gear selection makes sense, what the characteristics of the dirt is, what the entry and the exit looks like, and then as you get comfortable, you can find that sweet spot where to sit. It looks slow, it feels slow, but the beautiful thing about riding that way is I can do that a million times in a row, and the speed each time will increase without me having to try to go fast. Like I said, it will just be the byproduct of doing it the right way.